Welcome to the Bravado Blitz. I'm Eric Shannon, and
I'm Brian Shows.
This is Brian Shows, my co-host. Yeah, week number 5's coming up, so button up your helmet and stick around. The Blitz is here. Welcome back, Blitz fans, and boy, we had a wet first week of district play last week. We traveled down to Roland, Oklahoma, as the Rangers took on the Seminole Chieftains. Brian, we got to see some great football, well, especially from the Seminole offense.
Yeah, you could say that. Chieftain running back Cameron Gunville rushed for 364 yards and 5 touchdowns on the night in the 44-12 win over the Rangers.
I tell you what, it was sloppy. I mean, it rained probably 4 or 5 inches while we were there.
The rain seemed to bother Roland a lot more than it bothered Seminole, though.
Mm-hmm. And we talked to Coach Snyder at halftime and then after the game, and he talked about not being able to throw the ball. And that's one thing you picked up on in pregame, was they only completed about 3 passes out of about 40 or 50. Yeah,
and just a stark difference in the Roland's breaking in a first-year coach. Right. He's still trying to implement his system, and it looks like it's a relatively new system, foreign to the kids, so they're still struggling with that a little bit. But meanwhile, Seminole's been running with that coach for 40 years now.
Right.
357 wins strong, and you could. Right. It was a big difference. Those kids were ready to go. They were all about business.
One thing was, they were running the option. Roland was, and they did fairly well when their big kid was in there, the big fullback, and handed the ball off to him, and he ran the ball well. But they were literally inches away from really doing some nice things.
Yep. And you can see they're just on the cusp of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's a credit to Seminole. I mean, they've got the experience and they have the coaching staff that can make those adjustments, and they played well. And then Gunville, on a wet, sloppy, muddy field, man, he ran wild. We
never saw him slip either. We saw several other backs slip and fall. But I don't remember. And did they ever corral him for a loss? I think he never got dropped in the backfield.
Yeah, I don't think he ever had a loss, and I think Seminole scored on all their possessions, I think, but 2 of them.
Yeah.
So, and the game moved pretty fast because they were both running teams. So, but we had a good game of the week. It was wet, and golly, it was wet, and it was
football
nasty,
weather.
But that's football. But they both teams played well, and. What do you supermate? Well, there was one injury they took off, and we're gonna check on him later and see what they found out.
That was scary.
They think may have a punctured lung, but we need to check on that. But moving on, this week's game of the week, we'll get to see 2 of District 4A4's heavyweights. They'll go toe to toe as we cover the number 9 Hilldale Hornets hosting the number 6 Broken Bow Savages at Hornet Field this Friday night at 7:30.
Man, I'm excited about this one, Eric. This may be the game we've been waiting for.
A
game that goes into the 4th quarter.
You have been saying that you want a game that goes into the 4th quarter, and this might be it. So, but before we get too involved with the game of the week, we're going to go down and check some of our teams in our coverage area and see where they're ranked according to our partner at okpreps.com. And starting in Class 6A2, the Stillwater Pioneers stay at number 1 with a 49-28 win over Deer Creek last week. The Muskogee Ruffers move up to number 7 after a strong 16-7 win over Ponca City, and the Ruffers will travel to Sand Springs this Friday night.
In Class 5A, Carl Albert remains at number 1 after a 43-3 win over Guyman last week. The Tahlequah Tigers stay at number 9 after a 43-0 shutout over the Rogers this last week. The Tigers travel to number 6 Skytook Friday night, and that should be a great game.
I think that's going to be a fun game, I believe. And in Class 4A, Podo stays atop number 1 with a 50-6 smackdown of Salis Hall last week. You like that, right? Smackdown, the smackdown. Yep. Pirates will host Fort Gibson this week. Wagner moves up to number 2 after a 31-14 upset over Catoosa Friday night, and Catoosa was number 2 at the time. The Bulldogs travel to Grove this Friday night. Broken Bow stays at number 6 after a 48-0 shutout over Muldrow. And the Hilldale Hornets stay at number 9 after their 50-20 win over Tulsa Central. And of course, we have Hilldale will host Broken Bow Friday night for our game of the week.
In Class 3A, Heritage Hall remains at number 1 after they beat Mount St. Mary 34-2. The Seminole Chieftains remain at number 4 after that 44-12 win over Roland last week. Seminole hosts number 3 Lincoln Christian this week.
That's going to be a game.
And I want to see 10 teams that are better than Chakotah in 3A.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about Seminole. I guess we'll find out in a couple weeks.
We'll find out in a few weeks.
In Class 2A, Oklahoma City Millwood stays at number 1 with a 62 shutout over Crooked Oak last week. The Vian Wolverines stay at number 2 with a 54-14 win over Spiro. Vian travels to Panama this week. The Beggs Demons hold at number 3 after the 34-0 shutout of Morris, and they're at Caney Valley this week.
And we said I wouldn't want to be Morris last week.
No.
The Beggs took it to them, right?
Yep.
Class B, Shattuck stays at number 1. Dewar Dragons move up a spot to number 6 after a 30-12 win over Walika last week. The Dragons will travel to number 4 Davenport this week. Should be just one heck of a game. And the Keota Lions move up to number 9 despite a bye week, and they will host Wetumpka this week. So folks, that's our state rankings. You can check out more at okpreps.com. And when we come back, we're going to hand it off to Demi. She's going to check on some scores around the area and then present our Bravado Wireless Power of Connection poll.
There is truly no place like home. Right here in Eastern Oklahoma, Bravado Wireless provides the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month. We believe in strong, connected communities. That's why we live stream community events like local football games. You may not know us by name, but we'll be at the same festivals and cheering for our kids on the same sidelines, because we live where you live. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Welcome back. I'm Demi Smith, and I'm pleased to present the Bravado Wireless Power of Connection poll for the week of September 28th. Coming in at number 10, Class A, Gore Pirates. Their record is 4-1. Last week, they were ranked 10, beat Tallahena 27-6. Coming in at number 9, Class B, Dewar Dragons. Their record is 4-0. Last week, they were ranked number 8. They beat Walika 30-12. At number 8, we have Class A 6A2, Muskogee Roughers. Their record was 2-1. Last week they were number 7, beat Ponca City 16-7. Number 7, Class 2A, Vian Wolverines. Their record was 3-1. Last week they were ranked number 5. They beat Spiro 50-14. Coming in at number 6, Class 2A, Beggs Demons. Their record was 3-1. Last week they were ranked number 10. They beat Morris 34-0. Number 5, Class 3A, Chakotah Wildcats. Their record's 3-1. Last week they were ranked number 6. They beat Tulsa Webster 63-0. And here we are at number 4, Class 4A, Hilldale Hornets. Their record was 4-0. Last week they were ranked number 4. They beat Tulsa Central 50-20. And number 3, Class 4A, Broken Bow Savages. Their record is 3-1. Last week they were ranked number 3. They beat Muldrow 40-0. And number 2, Class 5A, Tahlequah Tigers. Their record's 4-0. Last week they were ranked number 2. They beat Tulsa Rogers 43-0. And for your number 1 ranking, Class 3A, Seminole Chieftains. Their record's 4-0. Last week they were ranked number 1 also. They beat Roland in a blowout 44-12. Dropping out of the poll were the Stigler Panthers, who were beaten 51-13 by Lincoln Christian. This is your Bravado Wireless Power of Connection poll for this week. Now that we have our 4th Power of Connection poll, let's look at some of the important scores from schools in our area. In Class 5A, McAllister got into the win column with a 27-23 win over the Durant Lions. In Class 4A, the Fort Gibson Tigers broke into the win column by beating Stillwell 48-13. In Class 3A, the Idabel Warriors traveled to Mulgee and beat the Bulldogs 30-12. In southeastern Oklahoma, Hugo beat their rival Valiant 34-26, and Antlers held off Wilburton 8-6. Keys got their first win over Sequoia 14-7. In Class A, Holbert shut out Porter 44-0, and in Class B, Wetumpka beat Wacomas 50-14. That is just a few of the scores around our coverage area. You can find more at our partner, okpreps.com. When we come back, Eric will have Hilldale coach Greg Werner and his thoughts on taking on his former team, the Broken Bow Savages.
Big wireless companies keep getting bigger and bigger, but their coverage where you live is still small. At Bravado Wireless, we provide the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month, right here in Eastern Oklahoma. You deserve to connect fast to your family, friends, and colleagues, wherever they are, with no interruptions and no excuses. Don't buy into big. Go bold. Go Bravado. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Welcome back to the Bravado Blitz, and we are on week number 5. And man, we've had such a great time going through the weeks right here, and we finally get back to one of our favorite schools here, the Hilldale Hornets, and first-year coach for Hilldale, Coach Greg Warner. Coach, thank you very much for being with us today. Coach, you guys have had some nice success. You're 4-0 on the season. Last week, put up 50 points on Tulsa Central, and then Devin Henry kind of ran crazy, over 200 yards rushing on the night. And so first of all, let's talk about last week's game. I mean, what's some of your positive points to come out of that one?
Well, first of all, you said it's week 5, which is hard to believe. It's week 5 coming up. I mean, it's just can't believe it. But it was good. We had 2 really tough ball games in a row, close fought battles. So to kind of get a game where you get ahead and kind of get to relax a little bit was kind of nice. And plus, a lot of kids got to play. And as you said, Devin had a big night, 209 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Dawson Neighbors threw for 150 and rushed for 80. And so it was a good night. And again, a chance to kind of maybe straighten some things out. And actually finally starting to get a few kids back healthy again. So good night for us all the way around.
That's one thing we talked about off air. You said this is the first time going into a week that you didn't lose anybody for injury, and you're getting kids back from some previous injuries.
Yeah, we were on quite a roll there, losing kids to injury and some other things, and we've been beat up. And I don't know if I've ever seen this many kids beat up as we were, but we're finally starting to see a few come back. That we're Kate Romine's back. Dayton Field will be back this week. So we're finally starting to see a few kids coming back that were injured, and hopefully that trend will continue.
Now let's talk about you. You had a couple of tough games. You had Shakota come to your house, and man, they just took you to the wire. And then you go up against a very deceiving Oologah team that had won a game, but might be the toughest over team in the whole state. So you went up against those 2 guys. How does that prepare you for this game this week?
Well, number one, Shakota's as good as anybody. I think speed-wise, they've got a lot of team speed, big up front. They really, what a really good football team, well coached, and they did things right. And just fortunate to come out with a win. Our kids stayed in it till the end, and then we do go to Oologah, and you're right, they are very deceiving. Plus, it was 197 degrees at game time, so
it was warm.
It was a tough night, but we knew going in, Oologah was really good defensively. And we knew it was going to be a challenge. Man, they ran to the ball well and did a lot of really good things. So, again, found a way to win. But, then, as I said, with Central kind of came back and maybe got to breathe just a little bit. But that time's over because we're heading into the meat of district play.
Yeah, week 2 of district play coming up. Now, Coach Warner has, you coached down at Broken Bow for about 10 years, and now you're up here. Maybe have a little bit of insight on some of those, you didn't have those kids, but you know the Broken Bow mentality, I guess we can say. So what are your thoughts going into this game Friday night?
Well, there's no doubt. I think I got a little bit of insight into Broken Bow, coaching there 10 years. I've got 3 sons, and 2 of them graduated from Broken Bow. So we know a lot about it. It's a really good place, and it was really good to me and my family, and we enjoyed our time there. But man, what a great tradition down there. They've won a lot of football games over the years, and man, they're going to come play hard, and there's no doubt about it. There's one thing about Broken Bow. When I was there, and forever, they're going to play hard, and it doesn't matter if they're good, bad, or indifferent. They're going to play really hard every snap, and those kids have a lot of pride, and the coaches have a lot of pride in what they do. So even when they're not very good, they're going to be tough because they play so hard.
Right. Well, Broken Bow's 3-1. Their sole loss is in week 1 to Metro Christian, which I think everyone would agree was an upset at the time, and no one expected it. But they've shut out their last 3 opponents, and they've shut them out, and they've scored a lot of points. So what do you tell your kids going into this, just looking at the last 3 weeks of scores?
Well, you just got to get ready to play. I think there's no doubt they're a very good football team, and they're going to be they're going to be ready. The amount of team speed they have is pretty daunting. They do have a lot of speed and really good skilled kids, and so it's a huge challenge to us. We're going to have to come ready to play, and if we want to have a chance. But man, that's what it's about. And I tell our kids all the time, you get into coaching and you play football for big ball games. You know,
right.
That's what you do it for. And so that's where we're at now, and we look forward to the challenge.
You want to button up those chin straps and go up against the best right there. So, or at least see where you stand up, right?
I think so, and I think this is a great chance for our football team to kind of come into our own a little bit. I think we've kind of established who we are, but this is a good chance to maybe really set ourselves apart and to do something big. So it's going to be a great ball game. I mean, we're really happy it's at home, and we're really glad to be at home because we've been on the road for junior high, JV, and varsity for about 3 weeks. So
right.
We're really happy to be back at home.
Right, and if you haven't got to go check out the Hornet Field, you are missing something special. They have a new artificial turf put in, and Coach and I were talking about this earlier, with the bright green artificial turf and then that bright red. It's just a beautiful, beautiful turf, and we're thankful for the Hilldale community for passing that bond issue last year and able to get that. So that's very nice. Folks, if you can, make it out. Ball game this Friday night, and 7 or 7:30?
We're one of the few left, but we play at 7:30 at Hilldale,
7:30,
so
right.
it'll be at 7:30.
I know a lot of them do. 7:30 at Hilldale. Get there early, get you a seat. If you can't make it, check us out on bravadotv.com. We will have the game live, and we're very excited to have this game. The Broken Bow Savages coming up against the Hilldale Hornets. Both teams and all the rankings are within about 3 spots of each other. So I think this will be a slugfest, and this should be one of the better games of the state right here.
I don't think there's any doubt. Regardless of class, this will be one of the top games in the state, and we look forward to it. We're very fortunate to be in this position, and we look forward to it.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much for
Thanks for
spending
having
time
us.
with
We
us.
appreciate it.
You are called to be bold. You have a right to the best wireless service, high-speed internet, and customer service at a price you can feel good about. At Bravado Wireless, we know this, and that's why we put you and your community first. We are owned and operated right here in Eastern Oklahoma. We live where you live. We proudly connect you to your family, friends, and business partners wherever they are. Dallas, Seattle, Taipei, Toronto, and anywhere else in the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Brian, we just heard from Coach Werner from Hilldale. He says the Hornets are finally healthy again, and looks like they're getting healthy at the right time. And by far their biggest challenge of the season is coming up Friday night.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're getting healthy at the right time to as we roll into district play, start looking for those playoff seedings, and he's happy that they didn't have any injuries. They're getting healthy. Some guys back that were injured earlier in the year and
right.
worried about the Broken Bow team speed.
Well, you know, we talked about, or he talked about, he didn't really know the kids from Broken Bow because they were too young when he left. But he just said he knows the Broken Bow mentality.
Yep.
And that they're going to play defense and they're going to hit you. And they're going to hit you again. But he did kind of, you know, foremention a little bit about they're real similar to Oologah. And, you know, and Oologah might be one of the best bad teams in the state, if that really makes sense.
It makes sense.
You know, they don't have a good record, but they're a really good team. And he said defensively, that's kind of what they look at is, you know, they all, you know, all 11 kids are swarming to the ball. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's for sure.
I think I don't know that we can say a whole lot other than I'm excited about the game. I think it's going to be a great game. So.
I think when we looked at things as the season started evolving, I think that when we kind of looked at the matchup, and that this is no disrespect to some of the teams we've had, we pointed to this as maybe our first really good matchup.
Right, and you know, Hilldale had Shakota a couple weeks ago, and I think it shocked them. It kind of took Hilldale by surprise, and they had to kind of look at themselves in the mirror and straighten some things out. And then they go to Oologah, and I think they were thinking, well, this was just a fluke. And I think maybe that Oologah game may have woke them up even more. And so they got a little focus last week, and you know, as he said, no disrespect to Tulsa Central, but it was nice to kind of have a game to where they didn't have to take to the fourth.
And they're much like Roland, they're breaking in a first-year coach. Hilldale's got a little bit more football tradition than Roland does, but he's a first-year coach, so he's still getting to know his kids, and they're still getting to know him.
Right.
So
we'll see. I think I'm excited for this game Friday night.
I am too.
All right, we're going to hand it off to Demi once again, and she's going to present our Players of the Week, and then she's going to talk about our scholarship giveaway with OK Preps. And folks, if you don't know what it is, go check it out. But Demi's going to tell you all about it coming up.
Big wireless companies keep getting bigger and bigger, but their coverage where you live is still small. At Bravado Wireless, we provide the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month, right here in Eastern Oklahoma. You deserve to connect fast to your family, friends, and colleagues, wherever they are, with no interruptions and no excuses. Don't buy into big, go bold, go Bravado. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless, we believe in the power of connection.
Thank you, guys. Bravado Wireless, in conjunction with OK Preps, will award one deserving male athlete and one deserving female senior athlete a $2,500 scholarship to help with their tuition for the next school year. Here's how it works. Coaches will nominate deserving athletes each week from each school, so let them know who to nominate. OK Preps will choose those athletes next spring, and the scholarship will be awarded during the school awards assembly. Coaches, go to okpreps.com for more information and to nominate a male and female athlete for the two $2,500 scholarships. And parents, let those coaches know and spread the word, because it's open to all athletes. Well, it's time for our 3G, 4G, and 5G Players of the Week. Our 3G Player of the Week is Hilldale Hornet running back Devin Hembry. He rushed for 209 yards on 11 carries and posted 3 touchdowns in a win over Tulsa Central. Our 4G player is from our Bravado Wireless Game of the Week, Seminole Chieftains, running back Cameron Gunville. He rushed for 364 yards and 5 touchdowns in the win over Roland. And our 5G Player of the Week is Fort Gibson Tiger running back Travian Woodworth. He rushed for 273 yards on 24 carries, 4 touchdowns, and he also had 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown and recorded 6 solo tackles in a win over Stillwell. Those are some pretty good numbers. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Demi, for the Players of the Week. And Brian, I don't know about you, but there's not a whole lot to argue about with those Players of the Week.
Not this week.
Not this week. You know, we had some honorable mentions that we put up there, and certainly those kids did a great job. But I tell you what, you know, the kid from Fort Gibson, it's good for them. They had the first win, you know, puts up the big numbers, 99-yard kick return, and that's awesome. But all these kids Players of the Week, and I wanted to touch on the scholarship once again. You know, it's $2,500 scholarship for a male and female athlete, and your coach has to nominate them. So parents, if you're watching this, you know, get with your coach and say, hey, I'd like to nominate, you know, little Joey or little Johnny or Susie.
Now that's through okpreps.com, right?
You have to go through okpreps.com. We're sponsoring the scholarship.
Okay.
But OK Preps is kind of doing the legwork for us.
Good deal.
And it's a really nice deal. And then one thing I want to touch on, I forgot to talk about Broken Bow, is do you realize they have not been scored on since the first week of the season?
You were telling me that earlier. It sent me scrambling just for verification. I
Yeah.
thought that maybe you were off the reservation. On
You know, verification, and one thing that's you catch me during the games checking on my phone as we go to Squirtle,
Yep.
and they're generous enough to give us some Bravado's generous enough to give us some nice new phones. And so I was playing with the iPhone 8 the other night checking on Squirtle. But yeah, they Metro Christian beat them 28-22.
First season.
First game of the season.
Yep.
And I think that really shocked everyone through the whole state, because Metro lost last week to Adair.
Yeah.
And then, but they have not allowed a point since.
Not one.
So that's pretty impressive right there. So I don't think we can talk any more about this game.
No, man, it's going to be one of those deals, because I know that Hilldale likes their offense quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think they think they might have something for them.
I think they do. Hilldale has the new turf,
Yep.
Hornet Field. Beautiful new turf. They passed that bond issue. We talked to Coach Warner about that a little bit. That's awesome. So, folks, we appreciate you sticking around watching us, and like us, share us. And this Friday night on BravadoTV.com at Hilldale High School, Hornet Field, we will have the game of the week. The number 9 Hilldale Hornets host the number 6 Broken Bow Savages. We hope to see you there. If you're not there, you can always watch it on BravadoTV.com. So from the Bravado TV studios, I'm your host, Eric Shannon, and this is...
I'm Brian Shows, and have a nice day if you want to.